But first, the coalition is once more after the Liberals and the Nationals agreed to reinstate the power sharing agreement. Earlier today, the deal was renegotiated after a snap National Party room meeting was called this morning to discuss Liberal leader Sussan Lee's response to the Nats' 4 non-negotiable policy demands regarding nuclear energy, supermarket divestiture, the $20 billion Regional Future Fund and regional mobile phone coverage. Joining me now for more on this is the panel Sky News contributors, Prue MacSween and Tina McQueen. Prue, I'll start with you. Well, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? It was supposed to last 3 years, we were told just last week, but this divorce was short-lived and they're back together.
Well, Rita, it was an exercise in futility, egos. We had Littleproud, who was all puffed up after, beating Canavan and, of course, the performance of the Nationals in the election. And he decided he was going to, I'll show him who's boss. Well, that backfired, didn't it? So, and I'm sure he was egged on by many of the Nationals, like Bridget, she seemed to be behind it as well. So I think that... we've seen that it was it was going nowhere. It was going to be a situation where the Libs just had to...
Well, it seems like they had these 4 non-negotiables, Tina, but really the key issue seems to be net zero. And the Nats still haven't had a review on that policy. I don't know what they're waiting for. Surely they know where they stand on that crucial issue. But I also want to ask you about another development we're seeing. It appears that Sussan Lee's new shadow cabinet is not exactly empowering Conservative women. It will be all but erasing Conservative women. The former shadow minister for women isn't a huge fan of Conservative women, it seems. Where is Jacinta Price? Where is Sarah Henderson?
Yeah, look, sadly, this will be a factional stitch-up, who gets what, with the shadows, Rita. And as for the coalition at the moment, I think that's an ongoing saga. I don't think we've seen the end of it yet. I think they've certainly united, but I think there'll be question marks over Littleproud's leadership and how he handled it. So I don't think the saga's entirely over yet. And it's disgraceful if Sussan Lee does not put in some outstanding Conservative women. It'll be incredibly disappointing, but as I said before, this will be a factional handout.
Well, they're often the most effective performers. They're the most popular. So if they're sidelined, you've really got to wonder what the strategy is there. Meanwhile, we've got Senator Jackie Lambie. She's scraped in and will remain in the Senate, narrowly beating Lee Hanson, the daughter of One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. This is for the race for Tasmania's 6th Senate seat. We're going to look forward to more of this.
So when it comes to the tech billionaire, like I've already said, I think he's a social media knob with no social conscience. He has absolutely no social conscience. Someone like that should be in jail and the key be thrown away. That bloke should not have a right to be out there on his own ideology platform and creating hatred.
Oh, Tina, that's just the good senator calling for the world's richest man, Elon Musk, to be jailed for providing a free speech platform. The race went down to the wire, Tina. I thought Jackie was supposed to be wildly popular in Tasmania. Obviously not.
No, look, her vote has dropped considerably, and it's a bit of a shame that Lee Hanson didn't get in. I think she would have made a great contribution, and I hope she sticks around because she came so very close. But yes, we've still got to listen to Jackie Lambie's wise words for another 6 years, unfortunately.
Well, I tell you, she provides a lot of content for this program. Some of her diatribes are legendary. Now let's go to Victoria, and the Treasurer here, Jocelyn Symes, has been labelled tone deaf after she asked a room full of the state's biggest residential, industrial and commercial property developers what their favourite property tax is. She posed the question at the Post-Budget Property Council of Australia breakfast on Tuesday, asking that room, what is your favourite tax? Prue, I'm lost for words. I mean, really? This is in a state where property taxes are absolutely crippling so many, not just those within the industry, but just mum and dad investors who are being forced to sell up. And she's asking people, well, what's your favourite one?
I mean, she's totally tone deaf and clueless and delusional and has a huge ego, clearly. I mean, to us, that room is, well, just the most astounding thing you could ever expect to hear from them. But Labor, I think, are so used to taxing now and, of course, spending, and that's why they need to tax so much. They don't have any idea that, you know, they're killing this industry, not just the property industry, but the whole energy industry, which impacts on every other, you know, business in the state. So it's just another example of an incompetent government and incompetent ministers.
I hope someone responded that there's just so many to pick from.
Well, that's true in this state. It really is shocking, Tina, because it is having such a dramatic effect on every level. We've had, I think, 1 in 4 mum and dad investors selling their investment property in the last few years because they can't cope with the land tax, let alone all the other impositions. So for her to be wondering what the favourite one is rather amusing, if not tragic. Let's stay in Victoria, and Santos CEO Kevin Gallagher has compared the state to North Korea and warned that Victoria's approach to energy policy is indicative of why major projects are going offshore. He was speaking at an oil conference in Brisbane, and Gallagher said, if I think about Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, these are very supportive, very development-friendly jurisdictions. Victoria, North Korea, their states different altogether. Wow. Prue, that is an indictment, but you can understand why there is mounting frustration within the resources sector over the Allen government's hard left stance on fossil fuels.
Well, it's a reality that business, like particularly Santos, has been waiting not just in Victoria, but what the Narrabri project has been waiting several years in New South Wales. She's banned new gas in businesses and residences from 2014, I think it was. And so why is anybody really surprised that this is happening and that business is withdrawing? It's great that business is finally coming out and caning these governments and calling them to account.
Can I just say, Prue, I've spent a little bit of time with Kevin Gallagher. He is a remarkable man, incredibly brave. He doesn't suffer any of this woke nonsense. He comes out and says it like it is. It's a remarkable man for the industry, and I'm pleased he's yet again has spoken out.
Yeah, just like
he's right about Victoria because Victoria is the most gas-dependent state in the country, and yet we've got policy settings here that are just mad and not just frustrating the resources sector, but creating, Tina, all sorts of uncertainty for investors.
Yeah, look, I'll be very surprised if she is still around next election. I think the opposition is starting to make a little bit of noise in Victoria, and they've really got to scream loudly on these policies involving gas and resources. It's crazy. So hopefully, the damage she's done to Victoria, alongside what the previous Premier did, she'll be gone.